Honestly, I've been waiting quite a while to do a video on, well, the Amazon Prime show Invincible. I'm a massive fan of the show and a massive fan of the comics. I'm not fully caught up on the comics, but I am, for the most part, caught up to the Invincible show. But I'm honestly a massive fan of the show. But that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about. More specifically, I want to talk about the idea of how to be a horrible parent to a superhero. And I think most of you know who I'm going to talk about. I know I could talk about Omni-Man, right? I could talk about how he treated Mark eventually, the horrible things he did. But the more specific person I want to talk about is Atom Eve. Atom Eve is one of my favorite characters on the show and one of my favorite characters in the comics, hands down. I really, really love Atom Eve. But here's the thing. Her parents are pretty damn bad, pretty damn awful. Now, I want to start by saying this. Her mother, she's a victim as well, to a certain extent. But she's also not the best of parents as well, where she kind of lets her husband kind of do things that she knows is not okay, right? They are not okay. But she still kind of allows it to occur. Now, her husband, or Atom Eve's father, or pseudo-father, which we will talk about in a second, her father is horrible, emotionally abusive, negligent, everything horrible. Now, I want to say this. First things first, I want to talk about is the fact they lied about her origins. That's pretty damn bad, but I can get past it a little bit on the idea that she was a young kid. She wasn't, super knowing of what could or what did happen and how she came to be. So I would get that. But it's really not about the fact that she didn't know about her origins, but about the way her adopted parents truly treated her. Because instead of having a family that raised her with love, support, and all of the above, her adopted parents, well, especially her father, treated her with negligence and also emotional abuse. And that's something that we definitely are going to get to, because her father is flat out emotionally abusive. And honestly, it's horrendous to watch, especially in the comics. It's even worse, but it's horrendous to watch on screen. Her father constantly belittles and dismisses any idea of her being awesome, her being special, her being intelligent, her being powerful, having achievements. He straight up denies, dismisses, belittles every single aspect of it. And honestly, it's pretty damn bad to watch. It honestly hurts to watch. Now, that does make for a good character, because if you're meant to dislike, aka not really vibe well with a character, and that is the exact thing you're feeling, like if a character is supposed to be hated and you hate them, they're doing a good job, right? They are doing a good job. And he constantly insists that she should live a normal life. And I want to say this, even to mildly back him up on this, I do believe having a sense of a normal life as a superhero or as someone with superpowers is a good thing. I think really instilling the idea of you should enjoy your normal life too. Enjoy your normal childhood, enjoy the day-to-day things that have been gifted to you, enjoy life as it is from the other side. But also, the one thing he doesn't do is really embrace the superpower being that Atom Eve truly is, the special being that Atom Eve is, the special person that Atom Eve eventually becomes, and really is in general. Now, that's the horrible thing about it, is that he, yes, partly is good in terms of basically wanting her to have a normal life, like a normal just a normal typical life that she can enjoy and enjoy the normal things. But he also kind of belittles, dismisses, and does horrible things, just says horrible things about anything to do with superheroes, anything to do with that aspect of it. He hates it. He thinks it's lousy, he thinks it's horrible, he thinks it's this, he thinks it's that. And that's where we get into this next point of how to be a horrible parent, is really trying to control the life of a superhero. Because trying to control a life of a superhero who believes that they want to have, a normal life, but on top of that, they want to have the life that could potentially be heroic, is something you should never cross that line. Because when Eve tries to use her powers and abilities for good, her father borderline scolds, tells her off, basically tells her to focus on real priorities like school and getting a job and stuff like that. Very, very like normal worker based value. He doesn't want his daughter to really rise to the occasion, which you can look at this in a really, really, really terrible way as well, because honestly, the father is very belittling of his own wife, kind of keeps his wife down as if she really needs him, right? She really needs him to survive. And well, Adam Eve, well, they were kind of building her up and making her into a woman that would do the same thing, that would kind of feel like she needs someone else, that she needs someone else to protect her, that she needs someone else to provide for her, right? Wasn't building her up to be a good person and a solid person and someone who can take care of their own business, right? They weren't building her up to be kind of all powerful on her own, because at the end of the day, she has to make it on her own initially. She has to really live up to her own expectations. And when your father is dragging you down, talking about, no, you shouldn't do that. Focus on school or getting a job. Don't worry about that. Those are real priorities, right? Being a superhero, that's that's nothing, right? Don't do that. There's nothing to be in terms of being a superhero. Now you could take it like, oh, maybe he's trying to protect her, but he does it in such a foul manner that it makes you question that there somehow isn't sexist motives behind it, right? There's an idea of like him really trying to control so much, not because he's like, I want to, make sure that she's okay and I want to make sure she's protected, to the point where it makes you question, like, how do you see your daughter, right? Do you think that she's a person with potential, or a person that's going to have to lean on someone else to survive in the future? Because he makes it seem like his daughter has no potential at all. And you could try and skim past the idea, or kind of get through the idea of, oh, maybe he's doing it to protect her. Maybe he's doing it to do this or that. But at the end of the day, you have to really boost your children's ideals and boost what she wants out of her life. And you may see it one way. He does, obviously. You may see it one way where you're like, you know what, I want you to be protected. I want you to be, in a good spot, not in danger. And that's understandable. But when you shut down, when you basically belittle every aspect that she believes she can be, that's a totally different, horrible thing. Controlling somebody to that degree is horrendous, and controlling somebody at all is horrendous in general. And not allowing her to basically open her wings on her own and try her best to fly to the degree she believes is the right point is kind of a horrendous thing to do as a parent. And we've seen this on screen with Adam Eve's parents, and it's horrendous and absolutely disgusting to watch, in all honesty. And it only gets worse, frankly, because her father basically blames her for everything. Straight up everything. When she leaves to try to be independent, find her own way through the world, her father blames her for abandoning them, even though he was the one pushing her away in the first place. Basically says like, oh yeah, like I had to get this job and do this and do that, right? Like, oh, like, and you just left, right? You just left. What are you trying to do? Make her feel guilty for putting her wants, her needs, and her potential in the forefront? And then at the same time, he makes it clear that he not only resents her powers, but sees her as a failure for not living how he wants. But then here's the thing. On top of that, when she's basically like, I could make all of our like financial problems, just go away, right? Here's this golden apple. Go sell it. You don't have to work a job anymore. He finds it to be revolting that she ever even would think that he would want that he would ever think, or that she would ever think that he would ever accept that. But why wouldn't you? Your daughter has this potential that is boundless. Your daughter has this potential to not only take care of you, take care of herself, not worry about a single thing in your life, but instead you want to resent her. You want to belittle her. You want to bury her, basically, and basically tell her that her powers are wrong and that what she's doing to try and help her family is wrong. I mean, there's no wonder that she would just leave. There's no wonder that she would take it upon herself and feel like, you know what? This isn't worth me being around. This isn't worth me hearing day in and day out that I'm borderline a failure, which makes a ton of sense of why she left in the frickin' first place. And it's very similar to what a lot of people say. And it's kind of like when you have a bad relationship with your parents and there's jokes, but really they're not really that joking, where you say, oh, I'm basically going to put my parent, mom, dad, whoever, right, in a nursing home. And it sounds mean, it sounds horrible, but when you have a absolute strained relationship that is like genuinely horrendous, especially like the one where we see with Adam Eve, those jokes become more reality than you think. And it's horrible, the things that he says, and the absolute horrendous things he does say continues on. I mean, he basically tells her that she should have forgiven her ex-boyfriend at the time, or ex-boyfriend Rex, who cheated on her and was frankly just a jealous asshole in general. Tells her like, oh, he was supposed to protect you. That's the only reason why we let you go, right? Only reason why we let you go is because we thought, Rex is there to protect her. But Rex cheated on her, treated her terribly, and did all these horrible things. But his mind isn't, wow, you know what? That's horrible. I'm honestly sad that Rex did that, and I'm sad that you had to deal with that. No. His mindset was, why didn't you forgive him? Why didn't you give him a second chance? Guys do that. Boys will do boy things. And it's honestly just setting a really bad example for what a man should be in the life of Adam Eve. And it really proves that she had to really find her own way, find what really she wanted in general. And in both the comics and animated series, her father outright tells her she is no longer welcome in their home. I know we did get the scene where, or in the animated series, where they kind of make up, and she says, oh, like, I'm gonna stay here, and if you want me to be in your life, you have to basically come to my terms, which her terms are, I won't do superhero stuff inside the house. I won't show my powers off inside the house, but you have to treat me better. You have to treat me like I'm not some outsider with this and that. And eventually they both agree to it, but you can tell her father's not actually agreeing to it. And it's honestly a horrible thing. And it's pretty obvious that she's not truly welcomed in their home, from at least the father, because she refuses to conform to at least his specific expectations, because she says outright, even in the animated series, she wants to have some sort of kind of middle ground, that she won't do this if they don't do this. Now, if he can't come to that, then so be it, right? Then she wants nothing to do with them. And that right there is the biggest step for Adam Eve, because what is she supposed to do, right? What is she supposed to do truly? Because these people who are her parents are supposed to be her protector, are supposed to support her, are supposed to lift her up when she fails, if she fails, or when she inevitably would fail in some sort of way. But no, that's not what they necessarily do. And on the father's side, it's because he's a boneheaded, stubborn person who is honestly sexist. But on terms of the mother's side, I'm not going to lie to you, it's more or less the idea of her being a victim of that same mindset that probably was pressed on her for their entire marriage. So it made her very kind of hesitant to kind of raise her daughter up the way that she needed to be supported, and basically prepared and protected for failure. Yes, unlike Mark Grayson's parents, right, who they at least try to support their son, even if obviously Omni-Man did the things he did, we eventually see the growth. We see that change, and especially Mark's mother, or Invincible's mother, which is, she's like the MVP, which we have to make a video on her specifically in the near future, which we definitely will. But at the same time, Eve's parents never really provided her with that emotional security, and she essentially had to raise herself, using her powers to build a life for herself. And honestly, the comics make it even worse. And the one thing that always stands out to me with the comics is we get a very disgusting scene in the comics where Mark meets Eve's parents, and basically her father goes on about her not being a virgin and just being heavily sexist. But you can tell that in his eyes, he actually feels like he is telling Mark, like, truthfully, that he is grateful that Mark is taking care of Eve and being with Eve, even though, like, she's been with countless men and blah, 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 right? All those things, which is, for one, horrible to say, right? You basically put a nice gesture and a nice thing you could say to a boyfriend or someone who you believe will take care of your daughter, and you wrapped it up in a bunch of nonsense and disgusting things. That's literally what he does, and it's genuinely shows you a full-on tutorial on how to basically be a horrible parent to a superhero. But in all honesty, it's really a how-to on the idea of how to be a horrible parent and a horrible person to just basically a child in general, not just to a superhero. But on top of the fact that she is a superhero, it's genuinely how to be a horrible parent and person to a superhero in general. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Adam Eve's parents, father, mother, whatever, however you want to spin it. Also, any other parents or kind of relationships in the show. Let me know what you guys want to see next, especially in the Invincible universe. Let me know if you guys want me to go into certain things. You want me to talk about certain things. Let me know what you guys think. Any suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. While you're down there, might as well leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the love and support. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.